Droid on a stick here, folks. Get your droid on a stick. Hello everyone, this is the LEGO Star Wars Imperial Probe Droid, the Viper Droid from Empire Strikes Back. This is in the 18+ line. It's sort of in the same line as the helmets or busts that they've done, but clearly this is not a helmet, it's the whole thing, and I'm happy with that because it's great just as it is. The presentation here for display is kind of playful and contextually appropriate, rather than going with just the most plain black stand made out of Technic and black bricks with tiles to kind of tie it all together. They gave us a little bit of the surface of Hoth here, and this is plenty strong. You know, this clearly looks top heavy. Most of the build is up here, so you need some strength, but there is enough strength and there's enough length and width and depth to this base that this has no desire to fall over whatsoever. It's actually very, very sturdy. The UCS style plaque, as usual, does feature one large sticker, so be careful with that, of course. And then I have little bits of snow detail around it, which I think is just a nice, again, purely playful touch, right? They did not need to do that. I think that it would have been a little bit better if some of that suggestion of snow went over the top and wasn't just attached to the front there. I want to point out how the droid itself is being held up. This is a long Technic axle inside of a stack of clear 2x2 round bricks. And that entire stack is just embedded a little bit into an opening in the brick-based base, and that's it. It just sits in there. There's a tile at the base. There aren't even any studs in there, and it's plenty strong. It's actually pretty smart. And this is strong enough as a single assembly that you can hold this just from right here, and look at this. You can actually turn it to its side, turn it to that side, kind of wave it around a little bit. Believe it or not, this thing is actually swooshable. This large scale thing is actually swooshable, so that was some good design work that went into that. The head is probably my favorite part of this. It has some interesting build strategies used to get the sensors to angle out in different ways, and the entire head can just simply rotate around, and it can spin freely. It has some friction to it, which is good. You know, it's not just falling all around, but you know, you can just keep spinning it. You don't have to worry about running out of range of motion. That's all that it's supposed to do. But you know, some different techniques were used on the inside that you really have to experience as you build it, or you can look at the instructions, at least if you can download those online. This does use two of these dark gunmetal gray, or just gunmetal gray, dark pearl gray colored accessory packs to give you some interesting and uncommon pieces. And I think those are just super useful. You'll see a lot more parts from those packs used in the arms down below. Plus, there will be a bunch of extras I'll show you in the leftover pieces. This set has a number of parts in dark gray that are either rare, or at least uncommon, or new in that color. I think this is the most we've ever gotten of the dark gray 1x2 by 2/3 wedge curved slope pieces. That piece there and that piece there, you know, the mirrored ones. Underneath of here is a 3-stud wide dome piece or half dome piece. This guy right here, this is a 1x2x1 with no studs, curved part right there. Kind of acts similar to a cheese slope, but curved and a full brick high rather than just 2/3. I like the use of the trans dark black for some of the eyes. Let's see, here's another one over here. Those are really good. Those are set up really well. How this one is done as well, I like. And then these corner pieces, these bow style pieces in dark gray, I think are, if not new for this set, uncommon yet. So this is a really, really, really nice parts pack in my opinion. 3 stickers, or I think there are 4 stickers used on this. I think there's another one. Yeah, there's the other one around there. So not too bad with the stickers. I think that they are appropriate. There are some gaps in here, yes. To me, that looks like texture more than anything. Maybe there are some techniques that could have filled that in a bit, but it doesn't bother me. Now, I have light coming from every kind of direction here, so this is not the most usual set of circumstances to look at a model. From some angles, you can see light coming through that exposes some interior colored bits. But what do we normally see on Lego sets? when we're able to view interior colored bits. We normally see like red, blue, yellow, green, major bright primary colors that just scream at you, and that make often me and other fans of Lego say, Lego, why? Makes us scream. Why would you show these bright colors? Why would you not cover them up? Or just use colors that aren't so bright? This is a great example of compromise in that respect, because the interior pieces that are built with colors to make it easier for us to build things, especially for less experienced, maybe even first-time Lego builders, to find parts, because our brains naturally gravitate towards sorting by color most of the time for most people, rather than sorting by shape first. We recognize color first, so using colored pieces, different colored pieces for the interior builds really helps reduce the cognitive friction of the assembly process. It makes us feel better ultimately in the end for most people. And this uses like brown, dark orange, colors that if you do see them peeking through like that, do not offend the senses. So thank goodness, that's a good compromise right there. And most of them don't show up at all. And like I said, under normal lighting conditions, you just won't see them. Check out these arms. There's so many different types of arms, very little repetition down here. And you can very quickly see some of the like blaster elements that are used for angles. Some of these are not able to change in angle. Like this one's able to go up and down here. You can also rotate at the wrist. Oops. That's not the most durable thing. I think it's probably the worst one right there. It definitely could have used like an extra small, I guess just a stud. Another hollow stud could have held that together. Most of this is definitely not designed to be played with, but it's not bad for just posing around. I'd say like this, you can just extend this out, and it has enough friction to hold itself there. You can open up the claw there at the end, which has a small extra pair of teeth in it, so you can put something in that if you want that's bar shaped, bar sized. Some of these can rotate from side to side a bit. Some of them will get in the way of others, like I had to move that one to get this one to rotate over here. So there are definite limitations here. Using some ball joints in some cases probably would have helped with some of that, but in some cases it may have made the joints thicker or more obvious, less appropriate. This one has a ton of friction in it because it's got that extra hydraulic style ram there, but this is also able to rotate here. You can open this up. You got that 1970s style, basic pair of grabber fingers used for just generic robots for things. This one over here has very little range of motion. You can rotate it around this way to bring it out. This one's designed to be facing in, and it just kind of hangs here. You can open up the ends of the hand. You can also rotate the wrist around. You can rotate it this way. Again, these things are really not designed for play, but if you do want to set it up in a specific pose, maybe grabbing something, something non-Lego, or reaching for something non-Lego, they give you the ability. They give you some options there. Most of the articulation options that are built into this are just to get the poses that look semi-realistic for plain display, but some of them can be used as well. This one has a few of those accessory pieces in the gunmetal gray used in it also. So yeah, I like some of these smaller builds. This one looks like it's going to, oops, I just totally pulled that off. That was my fault there. It is just a clip, so you have to recognize what the limitations are within reason, but I think this is set up kind of nicely. And again, everything has enough friction to pose it how you want. And I think a lot of these things have more articulation than is reasonable, than is necessary. The worst things about this from a durability perspective are these little bits that hang off the bottom. Like you saw how that wiggled when I touched it there. It's just not attached all that well. It's just a single stud attachment of that 1x1 cylinder from the underside. Over here, we've got an ice skate that's connected from the underside. There's another one of those cylinders. Got a large robot-style head upside down with a hilt-style piece. It's a T-shaped piece, though, so some of that stuff can fall off easily. But, I mean, again, the whole stand, the way that works, and allows you to just grab this and move it around, that's pretty nice. And then it's very convenient as well. Once you're done showing it off to your friends, You just bring this over, slip it right on down, and you're done. You don't have to worry about posing it from that point on, and that works well. Here is one of the piles of spare parts. So these are the relatively normal, regular ones, and this is a good representation of the types of small pieces that are used for detail throughout. Here's the other pair of spare parts now. This is exciting to me as someone who builds things with small details, custom stuff. These are just fantastic parts. Very un-Lego-like things, but especially if you're going to be doing minifig accessories, as you want to make it completely custom, these have a lot of options for doing things. And if you're just building regular stuff, there are some cheater elements here, like this lets you switch from a stud on top to a stud on bottom within just that space right there. Could be potentially very, very useful. Even something like this has so many different attachment points to it, with the open stud there, so you can put a bar into that, and then the two bars at different angles. That's a bar on the back as well, so you can clip that into something. These are just great pieces to have available, and I love the fact that they are included in such a generic color in the set, and that there are so many extras, and that there will be a lot more of these available on the market now. Finally, this is the sticker sheet. So like I said, 4 just regular stickers and 1 large one for the big plaque. Now I paid $60, 60 for this, US. And for the amount of geeky, nerdy display stuff that you get there, and with well over 600 pieces, I actually feel like the value here is respectable. It is okay. So for the sake of comparison, I mentioned that this is kind of in the helmets line. Here's the last Star Wars helmet thing that I got. Now this one was $50, 50, so it's cheaper than average, but most of them are about this size, and typically $60. Darth Vader's a lot more expensive, but it comes with more pieces. We won't get into that. I will cover that in a separate review, but for the sake of comparison, this is what one of those generally $60 helmet sets looks like compared to this. I feel like this being a complete thing, being something that we rarely have ever gotten at a large scale, having that little bit of base to it that's not just the most generic thing, I feel like the total package here, and being able to fiddle around with it, the building experience as well, all the little details and how the things went together, I feel like the totality of what you get here for $60 is better than what you get for some of these. Even though the total mass of plastic in some cases is higher with these, it's close enough. It's fairly compatible. I haven't actually weighed it, but of course we're not dealing with coal here or rice or something, so Lego is not a commodity that you buy by the pound, and it should not be priced by the pound, and it is not, by the way. Overall, I'm pretty satisfied with this thing. Is there anything that I personally would have changed on it? I think if the designer could have gotten fewer gaps in here, that would have been nice. In the center part of the body. Again, they don't bother me that much. I love getting all those extra pieces that are so useful. Again, I think that there's more articulation with all these little arms and things than is necessary for a display model. If you want this as a toy, then don't get it, because like I show, you can swish it around, but you don't want a small child to be playing with this, because all the arms will definitely be broken off in no time whatsoever. So know what it's for. Enjoy the build experience. Enjoy it as someone who is in the 18 plus group that Lego targets these towards, or someone who is not in that group and just wants a nice build and a fairly large scaled display model of an Imperial Probe Droid. I think it's pretty good. I don't think you're going to do much better than this from any company in terms of overall presentation, overall experience of ownership, before, during, and after the build. Good stuff. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. I hope that I at least showed you enough here to help you to come to your own conclusions about it. I will keep working and talk to you again soon.